on YouTube. We are about to be live on Facebook as well. Got a little bit ahead of myself, but just while I'm waiting, today's episode is about the iPhone. The iPhone as the remote control of your life. That's really a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing that I don't think a lot of people quite understand how powerful it is. This is only special for the YouTube people. No, sorry, you're going to have to hear the same thing over again. Here we go. We're about live. Oh, I see here. Yeah, I forgot. So I'm really getting fed up. This is the Apple podcast. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm getting really fed up with Safari. I am almost wanting to switch because nothing is supported. Everything is Chrome. And when I send Zoom over, it's buggy constantly. It's less buggy in Chrome. And live streaming, YouTube, you can't live stream in Safari. Facebook, you can't live stream in Safari. So let's give this a shot. Trying to go live in Chrome now. Meanwhile, all this time, and I have been live on YouTube for what, 5 minutes? Let's see here. Still loading. I have gigabit internet and it's still loading this page. I think this has to do with my laptop. My laptop, the storage is full. This is my biggest complaint with the iPhone. It's running out of storage. And it's something I constantly run into across my devices. And it's not like you can just throw in a card. With iCloud and it automatically, if you leave it up to automatically manage things, it'll just take them off your phone, send them into iCloud. There may be easier ways to manage all this, but the current way that I'm trying to manage things has been an absolute disaster. And actually, just having a SD card that you can pull in and out of a camera, like on my GoPro, is so convenient compared to the iPhone. Half the time, I try to dump everything off of my iPhone, it'll, fail. Oh, yeah, let's start the episode. Let's go live. Here we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to this Monday, July 29th, July 29th, 2019 episode of Apple Sidekick. Today's episode is about the iPhone. Now, this is called iPhone remote control of your life. And it truly is the remote control of your life in a lot of ways. The biggest problem is if your remote control loses cell phone connectivity, if your remote control loses the ability to record, you have no ability to record if you lose your cell phone. Those things are big deals. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is the 5G acquisition. Apple purchased Intel's 5G modem business for $1 billion, thousands of patents, and some key personnel, things like that. That's good. That's important. We need 5G. Those are the kinds of investments I like to see from Apple. Those are insanely important investments for the future of Apple. Now, the next thing is external storage. Now, when you have external storage, it makes it real easy to pull a card in and out of an iPhone. Unfortunately, the iPhone has never had external storage. And it's by far my biggest complaint. It's absolutely positively my worst complaint. And also, I also have issues with iCloud. This is supposed to be a positive show, but right now I'm kind of discussing some complaints because there are a ton of things wrong and a ton of things right. The things that are wrong are a really big deal, and actually such a big deal that some people may opt not to purchase an iPhone over it. 5G, if everyone else has 5G and the iPhone doesn't, that's a big deal because that connectivity speed, I have gigabit service, and while it's not perfect, gigabit service for 75 megabit per service is a huge deal. I had 75 megabit per second service with AT&T, and it was good, but it probably was 1/10 as good as this. And I pay 3 times as much. It's a business class service through Comcast because they consider this a business, even though it's a residential apartment because of the sign out front. It makes it 3 times more expensive. And with Comcast business versus Comcast residential, you pay 3 times as much, but you don't get 3 times as good a service. Now, with an Apple device like an iPhone, you're not going to pay 3 times as much. You may pay 30% more. But the increase is significant. It's not as significant as it used to be. And the lack of external storage is the biggest downfall. It's by far the biggest downfall. I don't really know how to explain how big of a downfall it really is, because for most people it isn't a problem. But if you're a power user, Apple is the company that is supposed to be the pro company. It's supposed to be the end-to-end ecosystem solution for the tools that are the bicycle of the mind. And this does not feel like a bicycle of the mind. This iPhone doesn't, if I can't even record what I need to record because I'm running out of storage. And then if I delete something, it also deletes it from iCloud. There's no option to say just delete from iCloud or just send to iCloud. I would like to see a lot more of that. And that's the thing. Android would never come up with those kinds of solutions. Android has solutions, but they don't refine things at the level that Apple does. So when there's a problem with an Apple product, you've got to look at, okay, how refined is it, and what could be the shift? And ultimately, as things get more refined with this, it'll be more seamless to be able to take pictures and manage what you want on iCloud, what you don't want on iCloud, those kinds of things. I'm just assuming. In all honesty, there may be better products out there with Android. And this conversation is making me want to look into how backups work, how Android's cloud service works with Google. Because Apple's, if you don't have a solid internet connection, it's garbage. When I had my 75 megabit per service, it was okay. It's way better on this gigabit service to have stuff upload and download from the cloud. But without internet, that's the thing. Apple products are such a premium level product. You really need to make a lot of money. And I'm kind of starting to shift away. I think this is going to be one of the first episodes where I'm really starting to shift away from recommending Apple devices just blindly. Because if you're not rich, they're not going to work for you. If you can't afford all Apple devices, it's just not going to work for you. The benefits aren't really there. The ecosystem is where it's all at. I have a lot of issues. I'm noticing that the issues are increasing with Apple devices. And as they age, I'm having the most issues with my Mac. And that's something that I continue to run into because I'll upgrade other devices and then the aging devices have more and more glitches and they just glitch out, glitch out, glitch out. I'm taking some of my frustrations on Comcast out on Apple right now, but they really do need to step it up. They need to step up the acquisitions, like the acquisition of this 5G motor business. They should be buying up, investing in things that are going to move the needle forward. In the key staff people, they just hired someone, a VP of engineering from Tesla, and he's got a lot of experience in the automotive industry, which is great. But before we start focusing on cars, I think we need to focus on the personal technology a little deeper. And I hope that that engineer is, there's so many things with the iPhone that it can do that they really do need to be doubling down on making this device even better. We're 8 minutes in with the actual live because I had a couple of minutes of having issues with Safari. And it's sad because I love Safari so much. I actually feel less secure with Chrome. And I have more pop-ups with Chrome, stuff like that. So when I have to go back and forth between Chrome and Safari, it irritates me. And this is where Apple really should be stepping it up to make sure that live streaming works on Safari. I mean, I don't understand why people like Chrome so much. I really don't. But it's frustrating that Apple hasn't caught up to that aspect. I guess that's something that Apple really always has been big with, is not being phone compatible. You really do need money. And if you're not making a lot of money and you're not able to invest a lot of money in your Apple technology, you're just going to run into headaches. Your iPhone upgrade every, my iPhone 7 Plus is actually pretty decent still, but it would be about time to upgrade. Then the next generation, the iPhone XS, 11 Max probably is what I'll upgrade to. I upgraded double. I got the iPhone 7 Plus and then went right to the 10. I didn't get a 10s. Now I'll get a 11. I really couldn't even imagine getting another phone. I like the external storage. I've talked about that a lot. That's the only highlighting feature of why I would get an Android device. It's the only feature that I'm like, man, should I get an Android device? Because I record so much video, because I'm doing 5 podcasts and trying to get all this figured out. And in reality, I wouldn't switch away. That's the hard part, is telling people to get Apple, and then if they're dissatisfied, if I told everyone to get an iPhone, not everyone's going to be happy. Because if they don't have the Apple ecosystem, it's not really going to be the remote control of their life. It becomes the remote control of your life with the Apple ecosystem. So I'm going to end it there. Make lots of money, prioritize your life to make more money and give more money to Apple, I guess. That's what it's ultimately about. It's about paying more money to Apple to make your life better. you're not going to pay nearly as much as Comcast charges. Comcast charges 3 times as much for their business versus their residential. You're not going to pay 3 times as much for Apple, and Apple is a way better customer service experience from Comcast. So that's all for today. I think everyone probably should go with Apple and just make more money. Just focus on making more money and prioritizing Apple products. Ultimately, I think that's how important it is. So that's all for today. Have a great one.